Welcome back to the Daily Lift, and today we're going to be in Nehemiah chapter 4. But before we get to Nehemiah 4, I wanted to share with you a passage that was brought to my remembrance while reading in Nehemiah, and that is in Jude. Jude, the 3rd verse in his letter, he says to contend earnestly for the faith that was once for all delivered to the saints. And I got to thinking, what does this mean to contend earnestly for the faith? And I believe here in the account of Nehemiah, we have a pattern that we can follow, that we can learn how to contend earnestly for the faith. And this reading is going to come from Nehemiah, the 4th chapter, and we're going to start in verse 6. So we built the wall, and this is Nehemiah's account of this. We built the wall, and the entire wall was joined together up to half its height, for the people had a mind to work. Now it happened when Sanballat, Tobiah, the Arabs, the Ammonites, and the Ashdodites heard that the walls of Jerusalem were being restored and the gaps were beginning to be closed, they became very angry. And all of them conspired together to come and attack Jerusalem and create confusion. Nevertheless, we made our prayer to God, and because of them, we set a watch against them day and night. And then Judah said, the strength of the laborers is failing, and there is much rubbish that we are not able to build the wall. And our adversaries said, they will neither know nor see anything till we come into their midst and kill them and cause their work to cease. And so it was when the Jews who dwelt near them came, and they told us this 10 times, from whatever place you turn, they will be upon us. Therefore I positioned men behind the lower parts of the wall at the openings, and I set the people according to their families with their swords, their spears, and their bows. And I looked and arose and said to the nobles, the leaders, and the rest of the people, do not be afraid of them. Remember the Lord, great and awesome, and fight for your brethren, your sons, your daughters, your wives, and your houses. And it happened when our enemies heard that it was known to us and that our God brought their plot to nothing, that all of us returned to the wall, everyone to his work. And so it was from that time on that half of my servants worked at construction, while the other half held the spears, the shields, the bows, and wore armor. And the leaders were behind all of the houses of Judah. And those who built on the wall and those who carried burdens loaded themselves so that with one hand they worked at construction and with the other held a weapon. Every one of the builders and had his sword girded to his side as he built. And the one who sounded the trumpet was beside me. And so that I said to the nobles, the rulers, the rest of the people, the work is great and extensive, and we are separated far from one another on the wall. Whenever you hear the sound of the trumpet, rally to us there. Our God will fight for us. What a wonderful account here. And I believe this section of Nehemiah gives us a 4-part process to contend earnestly for the faith. First off, we need to see that Nehemiah and the people were prayerful. Up until this point in Nehemiah 4, we have no less than 4 times Nehemiah talking about or referring to or actually praying to God. And so we need to be a prayerful people. Remember, pray to God, he will hear you. Secondly, that we need to have a mind to work. These people, they were able to get this job done in only 50-something days because, and this job was to rebuild the temple, but it was because they had a mind to work. And thirdly, we need to encourage each other and be encouraged to be bold. Remember whose side we're on. Remember that God is the one that's fighting for us, and that if we're on his side, we win. And the last thing, we need to both practice offense and defense simultaneously. We need to defend against the wiles of the devil, and we need to be building up all at the same time. And so when we're looking at this account, we don't have a wall to build like in Nehemiah's day, but we do have kingdom work to be done. We need to be getting busy. And the way that we get busy in the right ways to be pleasing to God is to know what his will is for us and to do those things which he tells us, instructs us to do, and which he tells us that pleases him. So I hope this is an encouragement to you, that take Nehemiah's account and his pattern to contend earnestly for the